Hi, my name is Lyric, and today we are reacting to This One Mistake Won the Celtics an NBA Championship by the man, the myth, the legend, one of the greatest basketball YouTubers of all time, Jxmyhighroller. Okay, so first of all, let me preface this video with something. So this week of NBA videos that I'm reacting to is the last NBA videos that will be on this channel. All future NBA reactions will be on the Lyric Reacts NBA channel. So if you're interested in seeing more NBA reactions from me, go subscribe to the Lyric Reacts NBA channel. Link in the description. Also, if you want some, original NBA content, I have an original NBA content channel, Lyric Rumbles NBA. Link in the description for that as well. So yeah, so this is a video by Jxmyhighroller. I have not reacted to one of his videos in a minute. But, yeah, so of course, the Celtics, unfortunately, they did beat the Mavericks in the finals, 5 games, won the championship, first championship in 16 years, second championship in the last 48 years, 38 years, sorry, which is insane for the championship, and this officially passed them as the most championships in NBA history. Yeah, so... But this one mistake. So I pressed the video right to do the reaction, and I played the first second, and it set a date in 2013, which means I think I already know what this video is about. I think this video is about the horrible trade the Brooklyn Nets made with the Boston Celtics, where they traded Kevin Garnett, where the Celtics traded to the Nets Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce in exchange for so many goddamn picks. And 2 of those picks, draft picks, ended up being Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Literally, like the two, the finals MVP, Jaylen Brown, and, their best player, Jason Tatum. Yeah, and I mean, shit went horrible for the Nets. Yeah, it's just horrible. Yeah, one of the worst trades in NBA history. So we're going to see that, how it led to the Celtics NBA Championship. Make sure to like this video if you want to see more NBA reactions like this from me. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. We're going to get 2,000 subs on this channel and try to get 100 subs on the Lyric Reacts NBA channel. Let's go subscribe to that. So let's get into this. Obviously, go watch the original Jxmyhighroller videos. Subscribe to him first.
The Miami Heat just won their 2nd straight NBA title. Jason Kidd and Grant Hill just announced their retirements. And the 2013 NBA draft is about to begin. The first overall pick was going to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And with
the big man, the chosen one himself, Anthony Bennett, who, by the way, if you actually look at his stats and career, like his advanced stats, normal stats, everything, Anthony Bennett has worse career stats than Thanasis Antetokounmpo. That's true. You can look that up.
Their stellar track record of #1 picks, their selection was bound to be a future Hall of Famer, franchise-altering caliber player.
Yes, of course.
The Cleveland Cavaliers select Anthony Bennett.
What? It was a worthy reaction.
Turned out he was not. On June 27, 2013, the Cavaliers selected Anthony Bennett with the first overall pick in the draft, a player who would go on to play just 4 seasons in the NBA, never even averaged 5 points a game, and is widely considered to be the biggest bust in NBA history.
Chosen over Giannis.
And somehow, the Cavaliers drafting Bennett wasn't even the worst decision a front office made in the NBA that day. Yeah,
I mean, trading for, how old was Kevin Garnett? That was his 18th season. Going into his 19th. So this would be going into Kevin Garnett's age 37 season. And going into Paul Pierce's age 35 season. Trading away all your draft picks for the next year. And then they only played for the Nets for like 1 year, losing the 2nd round. And then they trade him to a different team because Garnett goes back to the Timberwolves. And then, Pierce goes to like the Wizards or some shit. Plays for the Clippers and shit. Yeah.
Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Jason Terry, all going to the Brooklyn Nets.
Also, my main Jason Terry, the Jet, man, let's go. 2011 Mavericks legend, outscored LeBron in the finals, and didn't get dunked on by LeBron, but I mean, he outscored him in the entire NBA Finals series. So I think Jason Terry still has the up on LeBron. But yeah, he was also part of this trade.
Celtics get 3
this is like the part of the Nets super team that had like Andre Karolinko and like Brooke Lopez, the Nets all-time leading scorer, and Deron Williams. Yeah, it's odd team. You know, Nets have a history of failed super teams. You know, it's obviously Durant, Harden, and Kyrie after this.
Ones 2014, 2016, 2018. Humphreys, Wallace, Evans, just a bunch of stuff. Clearly the Celtics are...
In what was described by many as one of the worst trades in NBA history, the Celtics traded away their two all...
It was, yeah, because people really thought it was a bad trade at the time. I guess people just didn't realize this. Like, hey, these guys are old as fuck, and they're going to decline so quickly. Yeah, because it was looked at as a horrible trade for the Celtics, as like, oh, you're trading away your two franchise guys for draft picks? Really? You couldn't even get a player out of it? But, like, people don't, like, they were old as balls, dude. Like, they're not LeBron here. They were fucking old, and, like, they had, like, maybe one more year left. The Celtics realized, okay, we're not going to win another championship with these two. Let's just try to get as many draft picks as we can. And it obviously worked out. They got them a championship.
All-Stars in Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce for 4 age...
Yeah, first round pick in 2014. 2016 was Jaylen Brown. 2018 and 2018. Was it 2018? I thought it was 2017, because 2017 is when they get Jason Tatum. I don't know. I think they messed up here. I thought it was 2017. Maybe they traded that 2018 pick for the 2017 pick. I don't know. Jared Wallace, Reggie Evans, Keith Bogans, Chris Humphreys, and Tornike Shaquille.
Role players, a rookie who played 5 minutes a game, 3 first-round picks, and a pick swap. A big haul for the Celtics, but the ultimate 50
swap.
cents on the
The
dollar
pick swap
trade.
was probably 20. Pick swap
Fans
was
were
2017.
shocked, appalled, the trade being described as completely lopsided. Trading away 2 all-star caliber players and a starting level veteran for 5 players, the majority of them probably won't even see the court in a Celtics jersey, and 4 picks that may or may not pan out. Unforgivable. But little did fans know, 11 years later, this trade would trigger a sequence of events that would lead them directly back to a title.
They used their picks well, man. I mean, they used their picks very well. Probably picked the best available player. Yeah, they picked the best available player in both the drafts that he got. So, I mean, they used their picks well, you know. Sometimes people trade for picks and it's like, oh my god, but like, will those players actually become good that they draft? You know, depends on the franchise. If the Hornets trade for a bunch of draft picks, I don't trust them to pick good players, you know, but I trust, I trust the Celtics, especially, you know.
Is sponsored by DraftKings.
Watching your
Right
video,
now,
so
all
we'll let
new
the
customers
sponsor
who
pay
bet
for this.
just $5 on anything will receive $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's right, turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets just by placing any wager. But the action doesn't end there. From tip-off to the final buzzer, DraftKings has you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boost, and so much more. And if sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. DraftKings is the one-stop shop for all things daily fantasy, where you can have a shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use promo code Jxmyhighroller and bet just $5 on any wager and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code Jxmyhighroller, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. In basketball years, 2013 feels like a lifetime ago. The league was completely different. We had yet to be introduced to favorite players. Three-pointers didn't dominate the game, and the Boston Celtics looked like this. The core...
Not looking great. Definitely not looking great. Obviously, you got Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Rajon Rondo, and Jason Terry right here. Oh god, that is literally Darko Milicic. If Darko Milicic is ever on your basketball team, it's not a good sign. Unless you're the 2004 Pistons, and it actually worked out for them. You won the championship rookie season with Darko. But, yeah. So, obviously, we got the big two, old as hell, Rajon Rondo. I'm pretty sure he just came off some injuries. I'm pretty sure during this time. And, obviously, Jason Terry past his prime.
Core of their 2008 championship-winning roster still intact, minus Ray Allen. This team and this team are worlds apart, with nothing in common other than the name on the front of their jersey. This 2013 team was good, but the door on their championship aspirations was closing quickly, and time would tell that they would never go on to win another championship. What they would do, however, was inadvertently spark a chain of events that would ultimately lead to a championship over a decade later. They didn't know it at the time, but this team was about to make the ultimate sacrifice that would inevitably guide the future of this organization back to a championship. And it all started with one trade.
I think this might be the worst trade in NBA history. This, and I think what's going to be about to also be up there with the worst trade in NBA history, is the Clippers Thunder trade 2019. Paul George for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and about 1 billion picks. I think that trade is going to go down as one of the worst in NBA history eventually, as the Thunder continue to get better, and I think they're going to win. Have a strong chance of becoming a really, championship team in the next coming years because of that trade. SGA already an absolute superstar, like top 3, top 5 player in the NBA at least. And so yeah, this trade, basically trading away all your draft picks for your entire franchise for years to come, for 2 washed-up players that play there for 1 season and lose in the second round. I can't think of a worse trade other than that, dude. It's just horrible. The big 3, baby.
Well, there was a huge trade agreed to last night, and this is the one Berman is certainly not happy about. According to reports, the Boston Celtics will send Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett to the Brooklyn Nets for a package of players including Jared Wallace and 3 first-round picks. Now, the rebuilding movement in Boston is clearly in full effect now. In 1 week, the Celtics nation has said goodbye to Doc Rivers, Pierce, and Garnett. The Nets, meanwhile, put together an all-star starting 5. It's looking pretty good.
All-star starting 5, you say?
The Celtics broke headlines by
built an all-star retirement home. That's what they built.
Trading Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce to the Brooklyn Nets for what felt like to fans at the time very little in return. The deal itself
people don't
wasn't
respect
great,
draft picks
but
enough,
trading
man.
away the heart and soul of the team was an emotional gut punch for Boston fans. Not only was the team that Boston fans grew to love completely stripped away, but this trade meant the Celtics were going to be in rebuild mode for the foreseeable future. But Celtics GM at the time, Danny Ainge, had a plan,
genius.
a timeline that was going to take the
Danny
Celtics
Ainge.
to the lowest depths of the
Never
league
make a trade with
before
Danny Ainge. He always
inevitably
has something
bringing the
planned.
organization back
He always
to
has a
glory.
trick up his
And that
sleeve.
timeline began just 6 days after this fateful trade. On July 3rd, 2013, the Celtics hired former Butler University head coach Brad Stevens. Now, Stevens had never coached in the NBA
Now the
before.
GM.
He was just 36 years old, and he was handed over one of the worst rosters in the league. The 5-player haul the Celtics got in return for Pierce and KG was about as inconsequential as expected. Keith Bogans and Marshawn Brooks played a combined 10 games for Boston. Chris Joseph played a
Chris
whopping
Humphries.
24 minutes in
Come
a
on now.
Celtics jersey. Chris Humphries was on to a new team after just 1 season. And
China
Gerald
good.
Wallace was retired within
Chinese
just
basketball
2
good. I
seasons,
think he
which
dropped like
meant that
70
the near
points in
future
China.
of the most successful
Crazy.
and storied franchise in NBA history would be determined by their 4 newly acquired draft picks. By the end of the 2016 season, 3 years after the infamous trade with Brooklyn, the Celtics roster looked like this. The 2 remaining players from the 2013 roster.
We got Isaiah Thomas, 5'9" legend, 30 points per game at 5'9" is still the most insane thing, even if he is trying to get his way into every goddamn team now. Evan Turner, yikes. A lot of these players I'm not even gonna know. Avery Bradley is good. Jay Crowder's been on every goddamn team imaginable. Kelly Olynyk, fucking demolishing Kevin Love. Marcus Smart, great draft pick, wins DPOY later on. Doesn't get all the way to the end, but they use him in a trade for Kristaps Porzingis, so the dominoes still fall to get them to the championship because of all these players. Zeller, Rozier, all right. Solinger
were Avery Bradley and Jared Solinger. The team was painfully average throughout those 3 years, and they used that 2014 first-round pick they received from the Nets to draft James Young, who didn't really pan out. But they did have an all-star guard in Isaiah Thomas, and 3 remaining picks from that trade with the Nets. What they managed to do with these picks would become...
I think they traded the 2018 pick for Kyrie Irving, which obviously that didn't work out for them, but still, it's crazy that the 3 picks are out to be Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Kyrie Irving.
NBA management and nothing short of a miracle. It all starts with the Nets being absolute dog water in 2016, winning just 21 games, the 3rd worst record in the NBA.
Yeah, just 3 years after they formed the super team,
This gave the Nets great odds in the draft lottery and resulted in them landing with the 3rd overall pick in the 2016 draft, a pick that now belonged to the Celtics. Now, at the time, these picks that the Celtics received were a complete shot in the dark. Many people believed this 2016 pick was going to be a mid to late first rounder because no one thought the Nets would be as terrible as they were.
Now, the picks, first rounders in 2014, 2016, and 2018. Now, they will probably not be lottery picks because of the fact that the Nets would probably be doing well by then.
Why would they be doing... That doesn't make any sense. Why would they be doing well in 2016 if they just traded all their picks? They don't have any draft players, get any young players, for these old-ass men that are not going to be good in those years. That makes no goddamn sense.
Turns out this pick wasn't just a lottery selection, it was top 3. And with this third pick, Boston selected a 6'6" two-way guard out of Cal who was getting comparisons to Jimmy Butler.
Finals MVP.
With the third pick,
Unfortunately.
in the 2016
No, he
draft,
deserved to win Finals MVP. I'm just mad that the Celtics beat the Mavericks.
The Boston Celtics select Jaylen Brown
He deserved Finals MVP. He did not deserve Eastern Conference Finals MVP. That should have been Drew Holiday.
from the University of California, Berkeley.
Jaylen Brown got off to a slow start with Boston, but the potential was clearly there. And with the addition
His
of
head
Al
flipped
Horford,
sides
who signed
from-
in the offseason, the Celtics would go on to have their best season in a decade, winning 53 games, earning the #1 seed in the East, and making a run to the conference.
Yeah, from 2017 up until they win the championship now, the Celtics have been so consistently like top 2 team in the East. Because 2017 they make the Eastern Conference Finals, 2018 they make the Eastern Conference Finals, 2019 they lose in the second round, 2020 they make the Eastern Conference Finals, 2021 they lose in the first round, 2022 they lose in the finals, 2023 they lose in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then 2024 they win the championship. So most of those years, they've at least made the conference finals. Like, the amount of conference finals appearances they've made since the 2017 season is nuts.
Finals. Their luck was turning around. The fateful trade in 2013 fading into the past. But that Nets trade would prove to be the gift that just kept on giving.
Now it's time for the superstar, baby. The superstar.
After their 2017 season, the Boston Celtics were set up for one of the weirdest occurrences that can happen in the NBA. As bad as the Nets were in 2016, they managed to outdo themselves in the following season, winning just 20 games and having by far the worst record in the league.
Yeah, the Nets were just consistently made fun of during this time as, you know, oh, you don't want to be the Nets. You know, it's kind of like the Pistons are right now. Of like, when you're thinking of an example of a bad team, you would think of the Nets during this time.
And this meant that despite the Celtics finishing the season as the 1 seed, thanks to that 2013 trade with the Brooklyn Nets and the 2017 pick swap that came with it, the Celtics had the #1 overall pick in the NBA draft.
First seed and #1 overall pick is nuts. The other time I remember that happening is in the 80s, 1982, the Lakers literally win the championship. Like, the Lakers are world champions, and they get the #1 overall pick because they did a trade with the Cavs years earlier, and they ended up selecting James Worthy, which helps them win more championships. He wins the Finals MVP later on. He becomes like their second best player once Kareem starts to age more. But yeah, literally win the championship and getting the first overall pick is nuts.
Oh, this has happened before, both in 1978 when the Blazers finished the season as the 1 seed and the Pacers just willy-nilly traded away their first overall pick before the draft, and in 1982 when Cavs owner Ted Stepien traded away their first-round pick a few years prior, leading to the Lakers having the #1 pick in the draft after winning a championship.
Right,
In fact,
okay, of course you
Stepien
mentioned it
was
after I
so
said it.
reckless with his trades that the league had to step in and make a rule, essentially preventing owners and GMs from shooting themselves in the foot. So the fact
funny.
that the Celtics had this pick in the first place was
They had
miraculous.
to calm bro
But
down.
what Danny Ainge did next was not a matter of good fortune, but rather genius. Instead of using their first overall pick, Ainge decided to trade down and swap picks with the 76ers, giving them the first overall pick in return for the 3rd pick in the draft and a future first rounder. The Celtics front office already knew who they wanted in the draft, and it wasn't Markelle Fultz or Lonzo Ball. They also knew that they were going to get their preferred player regardless of if they were picking first or third. So in
So
one
might
of
as well
the
get another
ballsiest
pick,
moves
yeah.
in draft history, Ainge traded away the first pick for the third, got the player he wanted, and got a free future first rounder
completely,
in the process.
yeah, all
The player
W's.
they selected in the 2017 draft
Perfect
was
draft
just the
right there.
player they needed.
Perfect decision by Danny Ainge. This is just genius.
Pick in the 2000
If you know you're gonna get the player anyway, might as well get another pick for it.
The Boston Celtics select Jason Tatum from Duke University.
By 2017, the Celtics went from an average team drifting
I think it's safe to say that his career worked out a lot better than Markelle Fultz and Lonzo Ball.
in no
Lonzo Ball
man's
has.
land to earning the top seed in their conference and securing one of the best young duos in the entire league. Their next task, building a championship team around their new young talent. And they still had one more pick remaining from the KG Pierce trade. So on August 30th, 2017,
I don't know what that
after
pick that they also got from
drafted Jason
Tatum
Boston traded away
became.
Jay Crowder, Isaiah Thomas, and that 2018 first-round pick they received from the Nets
Isaiah Thomas,
in return
rip,
for
dude.
Kyrie Irving.
That's
By
the end of his career right there,
2017
that trade.
offseason, the Celtics roster had completely turned over once again. The first seeds of a championship team were being laid. But time would prove that this team wasn't quite ready for the big stage. The Celtics were good, making it to the Eastern Conference Finals in their first season with Kyrie and winning nearly 50 games in his
Even without
second
Kyrie
season with
playing
the
the
team.
playoffs,
But it became clear
which is
that
crazy.
Irving did not share the same priorities or expectations as the organization.
Yeah,
So
Kyrie
in the
doesn't work as a first
2019
option.
offseason, Kyrie
Does not work as a
decided
first
to
option.
not return to Boston and ironically signed a 4-year deal with the Brooklyn Nets.
That is
This
very
was
ironic,
a
huh?
huge blow to the Celtics. It completely caught them off guard. They lost an all-NBA player and they got nothing in return. The first step backwards for the organization during their rebuild. At this point, the Celtics knew they had a solid foundation with Tatum and Brown, and if they wanted to win, it would be with a team built around these two. So that's what they did. Over the next year, they drafted Peyton Pritchard in the 2020 draft. They acquired Luke Cornett in a trade during
God
the
damn it. Fucking Peyton Pritchard, these damn those fucking half-court shots in the finals, dude. Those are, oh my god, piss me off so much. How the hell did that happen,
21
dude?
season, they signed undrafted free agent Sam
Hauser,
and they traded to bring
and
back Al.
unsigned free agent, they got him for them, and he's got like a really big extension because obviously he's just so fucking good at shooting. It's insane.
Horford in the 2021
Al
offseason.
Horford, yeah, Al Horford, big pickup, huge pickup. He's one of the most underrated interior defenders in the league. I mean, he's so good at stopping these superstars compared to many other defenders. And obviously you got a floor stretcher too.
By the start of the 21-22 season,
Taco
the
Fall?
Celtics finally had some continuity with their team. 10 players from their 16-man roster returning from the 2021 season. But 8 years after their 2013 trade with the Brooklyn Nets, long after the residual aftermath of the trade had seemed
Grant
to come
Williams,
to
Mavericks
its natural
legend.
conclusion,
Got a PJ
there
Washington.
was one last gift that trade had to offer for the Celtics. Now, if you can recall, in the 2017 draft, the Celtics used their pick they got from the Nets to draft Jason Tatum, but not before trading away the first pick for the third pick and a future first rounder.
What was, I don't know
That
this part.
future
This part I don't
first-round
know about this
pick
trade.
came into play in 2019 when the Celtics selected Romeo Langford with the 14th overall pick.
Derek
Now,
White.
Langford didn't quite
Yeah, they
work
traded
out
for
the
Derek White, didn't
Celtics,
they?
and so
Yeah, I
in
know.
February of
God damn it.
2022, the team packaged Langford, Josh Richardson, and 2 first-round picks in a trade with the San Antonio Spurs in return for Derek White. And just like that,
Yeah, I mean, Derek White, just one of the most fantastic players in the NBA. I think he's the Celtics' second best player. Not to put a hot take, but I truly think Derek White is the Celtics' second best player. I mean, he's playing great for Team USA right now. Yeah, I mean, Derek. Yeah, I mean that's insane. Traded 3 men in retirement homes for Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kyrie Irving, and Derek White. Yeah, I mean it's literally their entire. Literally, like, their championship core minus Kyrie. And Kyrie was on the other team in the finals, that's funny. But, literally their entire championship core, other than Drew Holiday, was on because of this one trade. I mean, that's just so insane, dude. So insane.
nearly a decade after what was described as one of the worst trades of all time, the Celtics turned an aging Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Jason Terry into Jason Tatum, Jaylen.
They've traded the 2 championship pieces from before to build the championship pieces after, man. It all connects despite being 16 years apart.
Brown
in
and Derek
championships.
White. 8 years later, turns out that trade wasn't so bad after all. But the Celtics weren't done
Yeah,
yet.
I think it's fair to
After
say.
a finals appearance in 2022, the team was hungrier than ever. They were close. They had the tools. They knew they were still missing some pieces, and they knew just where to get them. But in order to
Porzingis.
have a chance at a title, they would have to make their biggest sacrifice yet.
Marcus, no. Dude, insane. Dude, them getting Porzingis and Holiday in one offseason after making the Eastern Conference Finals. One of the most insane things I've ever seen happen in an offseason, dude. You make the finals. You nearly win the championship. You're up 2-1 against the Warriors, then lose. Then you make the Eastern Conference Finals, nearly beat the Heat. You lose in a Game 7 after nearly coming back down 3-0. And then you just get Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. Like, you get 2 all-star level players. How does that even happen, man? How does that... I don't understand how that's physically possible. And your players are already on the team. Get better. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Get the fuck out of here. Derek White just, like, playing, like, the best basketball of all time. Fucking going demon mode the entire season. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Get the fuck out of here. One of the most insane things I've ever seen, dude.
3rd, 2023, just 3 weeks after their season came to an end, the Boston Celtics broke headlines in a 3-team trade with the Memphis Grizzlies and the Washington Wizards. Through this trade, the Celtics acquired Kristaps Porzingis. What they had to give up? Their leader and the heart of their team, Marcus Smart. A trade that was described as one of the most difficult decisions the organization has had to make in recent history. But it had to be done. The Celtics were one step closer to their ultimate goal. And just before the start of
Marcus
the
Smart didn't deserve DPOY, though.
2023-2024
Gotta
season,
say that.
Boston made one
He's a good
last
defender,
move
but he didn't
that would
deserve
prove to
DPOY,
create the
did
winning
he?
formula they had been seeking.
Jrue Holiday is a Celtic just days after being dealt from Milwaukee to
Man.
Portland. In exchange for Holiday, the Celtics have sent Rob Williams and Malcolm Brogdon to the Blazers.
Rob Williams, dude, what the hell happened to that guy, dude? He was literally so fucking good defensively. Like, such a dominant player in the 2022 Celtics finals run. Where the hell has he been the last 2 years, dude? Like, what the hell happened to that guy? Malcolm Brogdon, yeah, won 6th Man of the Year for the Celtics, was doing really good. They traded him too.
Portland also gets a 2024 first-round pick via Golden State and a 2029 first-round pick. Here's what Jaylen Brown.
And with the acquisition of Jrue Holiday, the Celtics would go on to dominate the 2024 season, having one of the greatest seasons in NBA history, resulting in an NBA championship. Over the course of a decade, the
Nearly
Celtics
swept
went
the
through a
playoffs.
massive rebuild that featured 112 players, 30 draft picks, 4 coaches, 2 GMs, one of the worst seasons in franchise history, 5 conference finals appearances, and finally, they had their championship roster. All of this.
And also, I think the Celtics are the most likely team to win the championship next year. I think they're by far the favorites still to go back-to-back this next season, coming up season.
Stemming from.
They literally kept their entire roster. I mean, and the team is like one of the greatest teams I've seen in recent memory. The 2024 Celtics are probably the best NBA team since the 2017 Warriors. Since the 2018 Warriors, we'll say. Since the 2018 Warriors, the 2024 Celtics are the best team we've seen, I think.
4 measly draft picks the Nets threw in as consolation in a lopsided trade 11 years ago. Look at the Celtics today and all of their talent, their record-setting season, the championship they earned, and you'll see a team that was bound to win a title. They've been called a super team, an easy path to the finals, too good for their own good. But when you take a step back and look at the long road the Celtics took to get here, you'll find resilience, sacrifice, patience, risk-taking, genius management and coaching, and an organization that has been meticulously crafting and building their championship team for over.
I mean, you don't just stumble your way into 18 championships, right? I mean, the organization's obviously very smart with their decisions and everything they do.
For a decade. This championship was no fluke. If finding themselves in the same situation, I'm not sure how many organizations would have the foresight or composure to make some of the moves Boston did throughout this process to get where they are today.
A lot of risk, a lot of risk taking. That worked out really well.
The Boston Celtics made what was thought at the time to be one of the worst trades the NBA has ever seen. But unknown to them, 11 years later, this infamous trade would trigger a sequence of events that would put the Celtics on a crash course with NBA history and a championship.
Man. I think that's going to be about it here. Alright, so that was a fantastic video by Jxmyhighroller. He always makes super high quality content, really good storytelling and everything. And yeah, that was just a fantastic video, talking about, you know, the whole path that the Celtics got here. And yeah, so let me comment down below a challenge. What do you think is another one of the worst trades in NBA history here? I think I think it's fair to say the Nets messed up their entire over decade of future of their, you know, franchise with just that one trade. But yeah, so what do you think of some of the other worst trades in NBA history that really messed up a franchise for an extended period of time, or trades that, you know, saved a franchise for years and years, you know? And so yeah, so NBA, this is the last week of NBA content on this channel, so NBA reactions moving to Lyric Rumbles NBA. Make sure to subscribe to that in the description, as well as my original NBA content channel, Lyric Rumbles NBA. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week, Jxmyhighroller, and that'll be about it for me. Bye.